Welcome, everybody, to the Content Crib podcast. We're back. Mr. Chris Gross.
We are back. And we're back, episode 8.
Episode 8. And I will let you introduce our special guest, Chris.
We have, as some of you are watching on video, the famous Seth Turnoff. He is a master marketer, sales pro, and founder of CMM, which Seth will dive into today. We love his product, and we love all the messaging that he has around how to capture more patients, and we're going to dive into that today and some other interesting takes. So I'm looking forward to this. Been looking forward to this one for weeks now.
Me too. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. That was such a nice intro. It's great to be here. Always enjoy talking with you guys.
Hey, yeah, Seth. Well, thank you. From the cool benefits of technology, we're in like all kinds of corners of the U.S. So I know, Seth, you're down in Florida today, and Chris and I are in the Northeast and all that fun stuff. So we get to talk about all the fun stuff that you're doing in life. And first off, your mustache is as majestic as always.
Thank you. Thank you very much. When I styled it this morning, I said, oh, thank goodness. It's a good mustache day because I knew I was going to be chatting with you guys here on camera. So, phew, that was cool.
I love it. I love it. Well, if you could, would you tell the audience all about you and who Seth Turnoff is and what? I'm just kidding.
With that, we could do a whole episode on that.
I was going to say, we do not have that much time.
Because if it was up to me, I'd rather talk about his band days, including also owning a concert venue. Those are some great stories to share. We could tell.
We need to start with that. That story has to be first. And so just so you know, for the audience and you, Seth, we usually do between 7 and 8 hours each episode. So go ahead.
Perfect. Yeah, well, no problem. You want to hear about the cool days when I used to be really cool?
Yes.
So I used to play the drums, and I was in a bunch of bands back in college, and then after I finished school, I had an opportunity to buy a club in Tallahassee, Florida, a live music venue. It was called the Cow House. Cow House was spelled Haus, and it was kind of like a very cool indie type of all genres and just like a nasty rock and roll roadhouse kind of place. A nasty in the most beautiful sense of the word. And I and a partner, we bought this club and we turned it into the Beta Bar. And we had all types of bands, local, regional, national acts, some highlights. Modest Mouse, we had Dropkick Murphys, we had the Whalers Band, we had Cool Keith, we had KRS-One played our house, Talib Kweli, Dragon Force, Mastodon, like the list goes on and on. If you're into lists, then include bands like that. So got to go on tour as a drummer, a couple laps of the country. I got to play CBGB's, got to play the Whiskey in LA. But
that's
now the only remnant from those days are kind of like a not as strong liver, and I have a high tom drum that came with me on tour that is now a pendant lamp in in our dining room. So kind of like little tastes of like cool Seth from back in the day, but I still have the fuzzy memory, so that'll always live on. I'm really glad that you asked. You could tell that I could talk about this forever, but I digress, and I'll get into the not so cool version. Actually, I'm just kidding. This version is pretty cool too. CMM, Chris, you introduced the company.
Yes,
it's custom medical marketing. We don't do websites. We don't do SEO or pay-per-click. And I know that prefacing things with what we don't do is like a terrible sales tactic. And I get that, but I think it's important because in marketing, just like with anything else, there is so much noise and it's been commoditized as the day is long in terms of like, why would I do this thing, spend a lot of money on marketing and this thing, and it doesn't work. And then I'm just going to go and do the same thing with someone else and hope that it gets the results that I want. Right. So we started this company as an answer to the race to the messy middle and staying out of the pitfalls of modern marketing or traditional digital marketing, and offer something that's an alternative that, when used with other channels, can be a very effective, comprehensive tool in your marketing arsenal. And you remember those ads with the cereal, and it showed a picture of the cereal and a glass of juice and toast and then something else. It's like this part of a balanced, nutritious breakfast. Okay, you can't eat our program, but marketing is a series of dishes that all go together to make, a meal. It's not lunchtime for me, but I'm always going to probably be equating things to food. So what we do in terms of marketing and patient acquisition is we leverage consumer data about someone's demographics, their address, their age, who else lives at that house with them, their household income. And we deterministically link that information, that data, with their psychographics, their online persona, right? The places they go online, the things they search for and use, the apps they download, and purchase patterns that they might make. So while we don't deal with PHI, personal health information, or diagnosis codes, or CPTs, or prescriptions, we look at the person, who they are, and what they do, what things matter to them. Like, for example, our total joint audience are, depending on the market, they're going to be people ages 50 plus, with an inferred interest in arthritis. The inferred interest, these are things like purchase patterns of NSAIDs or knee braces. These people will also all have active lifestyles. So when we look at something, we don't know for a fact that someone has an ailment. But if someone's over the age of 50 and they have the Nike One app, they purchase running shoes, they bought a knee brace in the past 6 months, and they have searched for arthritis or knee pain, if our client, let's say an orthopedic practice, is within 10 miles of this person, we probably want that person to know who our client is and what they offer and like why they're different. And then if we can get a little deeper, our client can leverage some creative that educates this audience as to maybe what could be going on. Leverage yourself as the expert. Patients aren't looking for the solution. They're looking for confidence, right? They're looking for the balance, and they're looking to know who they can trust, right? So while the data and the targeting is like pretty intuitive and different, right, in terms of marketing, I think it's the entire program and the trend of healthcare feels really gross to be selling, right? To sell a healthcare product, to sell wellness. I think it's the idea of picking up your grandkids without back pain. I think it's, going on a run with your spouse like you used to months ago before, you're not able to. It's the idea of the you used to be before this insert ailment here started happening. So we've been in business since 2019. And again, you can tell, like, if you just let me go, I'm just going to go, and good luck to us all.
Well, I want to stop.
People, you got to interrupt me, man. Just like, get in here.
Well, because I know what some of the audience is thinking at the moment, and they're like, man, how am I getting targeted these days? I mean, Seth is doing this for, this little corner of the market, right? This little, like, really speck of sand. And I think it's important that people know that there is, services like this available to help to help market better to their business, instead of just, buying a Google ad and who knows they're targeting, they're just targeting it to maybe an age demographic. And all that stuff. I want to know, like, how did you like narrow down and get extra crispy on, I had to use that, on how like you wanted to package this product, because I think it's genius. So the psychographics, the habits, because it's ultimately going to get the best patient for the practice, right?
Yeah, that's the goal. Like, look, you can cast a wide net and you can put your ad out on a bus stop, right? If you're a medical clinic, and if someone said, "Oh, you're a doctor. Oh, who do you treat?" Well, I'll treat anybody. Okay, I get that, but in a sense, if that's what you're trying to do, just like go and cast the net, right? What we do is we leverage our data so that we're using a very specific net to catch a very specific type of fish. Here I am with the food analogies again.
Yeah.
I swear I'm not hungry. But so look, it doesn't make sense for you to spend your budget to reach everybody, right? I've spoken to practices and to physicians who are like, look, we spend this money, and like, especially things like cash pay services, right? Like certain men's health or like PRP stuff, or even like implants, to dental implants, certain things where the patients need to be qualified. And I don't want to trash search, right? But the only thing that qualifies a patient in a search environment for your specialized services is that they can search the internet. Like, that's it. And sure, in a perfect world, your funnel filters them out. And like when they pick up the phone or when they book a consult, however they do it, that whoever is helping them book that appointment, they're qualifying them. Because the worst thing is for you to take up your time explaining a procedure or an ailment to a patient, but then at the end of the day, they don't qualify because either they can't afford it or they're not willing to go on a payment plan, or like they don't have the information up front to understand that they should come in for a consult. Then you're just wasting everyone's time. So getting crispy, Chris, as you can with not only who you are best suited to treat based on your clinical expertise, but those patients that bring you increased revenue based on your contracts and reimbursements, that bring you clinical satisfaction, those cases that you can do like all week long, that leave you energized, the patients that are compliant and responsive to you, that follow your protocol and that have the best outcomes. Like, this can be manufactured. This can be designed in a way that you can have a full schedule of patients that carry the most meaning for you and your business. So it's just a different way of looking at it. And look,
Yep.
health marketing has never been native to healthcare, right? It's always been just a series of like kind of just throwing shit against the wall, excuse me, and like seeing what works and what doesn't work, and it's never been a part of the care delivery process. So we're bolting on these functions that work really well in all these other industries, but healthcare is unlike any other industry, and healthcare has its own rules, for from HIPAA to billing and coding, and as well as the Hippocratic Oath. So I think that it's buyer beware. You can try everything that you can, but I think when we first started, the first year, 80% of the calls that I was having with prospects, 80% had a very negative experience with marketing. And so
Digital marketing, kind of throwing a bunch of cash out there. Yeah.
yeah, and just getting burned. And it still happens. And look, that's why we changed the name, a little rebrand from Custom Medical Marketing to CMM, because we'd get at bats and it would be like, yeah, no, websites, SEO, yeah, we're good. We don't need that stuff. Like, we keep it moving. And it's like, wait, no, hold on. And I think that you can compare apples to apples as long as you're doing just that. As long as you're comparing a strategy that is exactly like this other strategy that you're using. And it's really easy to say, don't bring your personal bias to my program, right? that makes sense. It's logical. Like, we're different and this is how, and like whatever. But I get it. We're humans, and it's like, fool me once, that whole thing. Um, but yeah, I don't like the conversation where I would rather talk with a prospect about why we might not be the right fit for them, instead of saying, yeah, no, absolutely, we can do this. And then have this conversation 2-3 months that, oh, well, just keep doing it. You have to keep going. Right. I think it's knowing up front and understanding the mechanics, and marketing can only get you so far. Right. You can't outspend a poor sales process. Like, if your sales process is broken, marketing is not going to fix it.
Well, so Seth,
So I wanted to ask you a question on the content marketing part of it, because I think you do such a fantastic job at your content creation, and how have you created organically for how many years you've been posting days in a row? 4?
You might be around 4 years.
I thought Chris was making a joke and saying that you had posted for 4 days in a row, and I thought, well, that's
No.
I mean, I have, but a little bit more than that as well. Today is day 1,210.
wow.
Well, So I want
Math.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you must do a great job at attracting ideal clients because of the content you put out there. And just give me a little snippet of how your content has evolved when you started posting and when you realized the messaging started to work and you started connecting with your ideal clients through your content creation.
Man, it's such a great question. You said, give me a little. I'll try to give you a little.
No,
Go for it.
I think
take as much time.
it's only until like probably this year that, well, sure, some of my content was getting traction. I realized that, look, I'll be the first one to tell you that the dopamine feels great. But when you're talking about building a business, and it might have been Matthew Ray Scott who said that, like, it's better to have 100 true fans who get and follow you, who are also your ideal customer, than 10,000 just fans who just like your stuff. And I get it. And I know I butchered that, but it's true. I think so. It's evolved from, like, look, when I first started, I said, all right, I'm going to go all in on this, and I'm going to do this consistently. I had some rules. One, I have to do it as myself, right? I'm not going to do a persona of like something that I need to remember. Is it, LinkedIn Seth, or is it real Seth? Just be myself and let the cards fall as they may. Two, I'm doing it obviously for business reasons. I'm also doing it to network and to learn and to grow, right? So if it's not moving me forward in one of those directions, let me reassess. And most importantly, it has to be enjoyable. Like, I have to like doing it. And once it feels like it's work or it's something I have to do, like, I'm out, because I already have stuff I have to do. Like, I need to figure out a way and a cadence that I can do it as myself at scale and have it be meaningful to get me, what my objectives are, right? The networking, the growth, and hopefully the business. So, everybody always asks me, when someone starts out like that, like, no, nobody asked you. So let me just start out by being real. Nobody's ever asked me what my posting schedule is. Well, I'm glad nobody asked me, but I'm going to tell you. So this is what it is currently. So on Monday, I am going to post a map that is a circle in an area, and I'm going to include a count from the amount of ideal potential total joint patients there are in that specific geography that I've highlighted on the map. And then I go into our CMM Direct program and just give some details about what that is. That's Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it's going to be something work related, business related, whether it's healthcare marketing or patient acquisition, whether it's physician branding, whether it's physician-led educational videos, something that is insightful, hopefully useful on the platform to my ideal audience. And then Friday, I've been doing a series all year called Feral Fridays, and it's basically just like stuff I find around the internet that I think is enjoyable. Usually it's entertaining, probably some music stuff. It's probably dumb or silly to some people, and that's okay. Not everything is for everyone. You don't like it, you don't like me, that's fine. Scroll past it. You don't have to have it ruin your day. Just keep it moving. Saturday is probably going to be a pun or something that I find amusing that might cause your eyes to roll and say this guy is stupid. They're pretty fun for me, and I love it. I will make my wife's my wife. I make her eyes roll all the time just because of my humor. So that's always fun to do that to people.
She'll eventually appreciate his humor, Seth. Eventually she will.
Well, you're just encouraging me, is what she would say. She could stop liking this stuff, she would say. And then Sundays, I created a series called The Jerk Store, which is not cool, nice, kind, or helpful. But I share a pitch slap, a cold DM that is terrible that I've gotten in my DMs, and my playful little trolling response to the pitch slappers. And basically, I took something that it used to really bother me. Not just because it wastes my time, not just because the approach is horrible from a sales perspective. But it was just, they make you feel terrible. So I took this thing and I just kind of turned it into something I enjoy, being immature and petty, and having fun at their expense, for my own enjoyment. Man, if that's my claim to fame, yeah, it works for me every Sunday. So hopefully some people get something from it too. And if I saved if one person saw that stupid series, and if they're like, man, I need to rethink my cold outreach, well, then it's done its job. Then it's worked, and I have successfully saved one poor soul from receiving a terrible pitch slap. So it's great.
Yeah.
I consider that a win. So that's like my content strategy. It's totally evolved. I used to love just getting likes and see the reach and how far when did this take off or go, and like you're chasing the wrong metric. And I think there's instead of like going viral, I think it's now more authenticity and like, well, sure, you had a lot of clicks, but how many clients did you get from that? And it's happened a couple times in the past few months where one time I had a surgeon, he messaged me out of the blue, and I spoke to him probably a year and a half ago. And, he's not in my likes, or he doesn't really comment.
He's a
Give me a
lurker.
message out of the blue. Yeah, lurker, which that's fine. They're out.
Oh yeah. And
That's the thing. And this is proof of that. He says, well, Seth, it finally happened. You wore me down with your content. I'd like to schedule a call with you. I'm ready to move forward. And I was like, whoa, this is the best cold DM I've received probably ever. That's proof that, like, look, if you're incessant and annoying and you don't stop and you're consistent, look, man, maybe you can get a client too. You can wear your
if you were annoying, he would have muted you or unfollowed. He or she would have muted you and followed you. So they kept listening and tuning in because they were learning from you.
That's the key takeaway. Don't be annoying. Just be consistent.
And I think going back to the very beginning and why your goals were and why I think there's a lot of gold in what you just said. And I hope that people that are listening are really paying attention, but your goal was to move your business forward and growth. And I think that there's a lot to be said there. You're not just going for the metrics and the likes, but of course, like you said, dopamine, we all have an addiction towards it in some way or another. But I just love that putting your voice out there, shaping your content and trying to attract your ideal clients while also trying to personally grow and grow your network. Like those, if you break it down that way and understand that's what's going to happen by starting to build a following, it's awesome. I love that so much.
Well, I wish I could say it was by design and super intentional. Like it just kind of happened. And you know how like when you have a goal and it's loose and you end up just like falling up the stairs, but you still get there. It's kind of like, oh, okay, well, look, I'm lucky, I guess. But I think that over time it's evolved. And I think you said something there, Chris, that everybody, the growth. Here's the deal. I think that everybody is on LinkedIn for their own reasons.
Sure.
But I think for the most part, everybody who has a job or even those who don't have a job. They're looking for an edge. They're looking to be better at this thing, whether it's the job they do all the time, whether it's the thing they're looking to get into, whether they're looking for work and they just want to kind of like level up. I think by learning from each other in a supportive, conducive environment is incredible.
Yeah, well said. I mean, it's well, I get a question for you. It just kind of came to my mind as you were talking about your outbound as well as, having an inbound DM. Have you found this we're going to go way down deep here. Have you found that you're reaching your ideal customer, your ICP, has been more effective since the implementation of AI in the algorithm? Or do you think it's the same, or do you really not know? Because I can just tell you from me, and I've noticed that my likes or followers or engagement is way down, but the people that I'm targeting, or at least the people who are listening to my content, are the ones I want to hit. Those are the people that they're the people I want to go. Hopefully that all made sense, what I was trying to say there.
Yeah, it definitely made sense. And for me, like, I don't know, like I don't use any AI in my targeting or in my, network expansion, right? In terms of on LinkedIn. Usually it's it's a pretty scientific act. And here's what it looks like. I'll see a post, maybe something by Chris, and I will go into the comments and I will read those comments. And then I'm looking for someone new, right? Or something insightful. And when I find someone who says something new or insightful, I click on them and I check out their profile. And if I'm compelled, I will connect with them. So, and it's not really like, oh, I think this person would be a great client. I don't think it's not that kind of intentional. But I don't think I don't think it's played that big a role for me in terms of my network expansion. I think that, yeah, impressions are down across the board. And I'm never going to complain about it because we're here. You made this platform. I appreciate using it. I appreciate the fact that I've used a computer to meet the two of you and actually met you guys in person and had this really impactful experience because of a computer.
Yeah.
Because of a computer application. What? And so I think that take it for what it is. You can complain about your reach or your impressions or whatever. And it's okay, well, I mean, let's look on the bright side. I hate to be cliche, but so I don't really think it has that big of an effect on me, at least nothing that I'm up in arms about. And I'm not really an up in arms kind of guy. I'm not gonna, you damn algorithm. That's not really what I said.
I'm the same exact way. You're not going to control it. Why get upset or try to figure out what it's doing or not doing? It really doesn't matter because either you're going to keep having your journey and your message and what you're trying to convey out there, or you're not. And if you're not, okay, I don't know what in this day and age you're going to do differently. I'm sure you can get a good deal on a newspaper ad. I bet you can get a fantastic deal, but a great deal.
I think you're right, Eric, but I think it's also, it comes down to consistency. If you're complaining about your reach of one post, well, if you post consistently, you're really not, it's not about one post. It's not about, that week. It's about, you have to zoom out, look at the trends and just kind of see how you're doing from it. And are you getting what you want from it? And if you're that intentional and targeted, did you plug in KPIs? Are you looking at this stuff? Or are you just posting what you think people will like? Or are you posting for yourself? Right.
Good point.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've said this a couple times now, and I don't think it really ever gets old because maybe a lot of people missed it. on other episodes, but when else do you have the chance to get in a room with 500 to 1,000 people that may come by your post for essentially free? And I would say not often. And that's just the beginning, because then you start to really ramp up your content and you start getting more and more impressions.
100%. Absolutely. And I don't know, how do you guys feel about this whole like see your impressions from certain comments? I think
Yeah,
kind of a fun metric.
it's interesting.
Yeah, I always comment on Eric's stuff because I get like 5,000 impressions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's that's a good little hack, right? I'm not
Yeah.
into hacks or like tweaks or anything, but like, look, we're never gonna beat the algorithm, like you just said, Eric.
Yeah.
But it is kind of fun to try to figure it out and try to like
Yeah.
gain it or like swim with the current. Like you just said, Chris, if I were to ring the bell on Eric's profile, I think I do have it wrong. Where I'm gonna get
The nicest thing you've ever told to me, pal.
well, they gotta stick around. If I'm the first one in there to comment a meaningful comment and his post like catches some wind like they do, there's gonna be a lot of eyes on the comment there. So my advice, and look, this might be right now that when this airs, in a couple weeks, it might be like totally different. But I feel like for right now, if you did that and if you want an impact, you have to post or you have to comment
Commenting.
meaningfully and chronologically. Like if you can be the first one to comment on a post that's going to catch fire, there's a lot of people going to see that comment, but it's got to be insightful and you have to have something, add something to the conversation. Everybody can see through great insight.
Yeah.
And like kind of it's like, okay, cool. Look, it can
Great
still
mustache.
right. Because I mean, I get that and I'll be like, well, thank you. Wait, hey, hold on a minute. I don't like it. But no, that's quite all right. It's okay. It's okay. You can compliment my mustache. But I think a friend of mine, who hasn't been on the platform in a while, months ago, he told me, he's like, well, do you warm up the wizard? And I was like, warm up what? I was like, what?
This is the family show, Seth.
Serious.
Just
Yeah, PG. He already swore war, so we had to dump that.
Yeah.
Great. Start over. So warming up the wizard, this is what he called it. You before you make a post, you go in, meaningfully comment on, as many as you can in like a 30, 45 minute time frame, and then launch your post or post your post out and let it rip. And that warming up, it's going to have more reach because you were actively against. I don't know. I've done it and then not do it and see what. But look, there's all other types of factors that could be at play. But it is a kind of a fun game to play if you're into games.
We like games, and we like games at Content Crib. We don't really actually play games, but you grace us with your presence at Content Crib, the last Content Crib, and you'll be joining us in Bentonville in October. We're thrilled about that, and just wanted to get your take on, you obviously did a great presentation for us, and just your take on Content Crib. Some of the people that are listening in that may be interested in going and not really sure and still trying to figure out if it's a fit for them.
Yeah, first of all, thank you guys so much for having me. And it was definitely an honor to speak in front of those people. And like, man, Chris, you saw me, like, just like the novelty, like never wears off of seeing all of these people in real life, like right in front of you. And I've said it before, it's like my entire feed just like is standing right here. It's just like the weirdest, wackiest thing. But I think what it comes down to is like everybody who's a part of it, whether they're in that room or not, I think everybody wants very similar things. They want growth, they want to be successful, and they want to help, right? And I think every single person has something meaningful to contribute, whether they think they do or not. They do. And it's the same thing with posting and making content. Like, you think you don't have anything to say? I'm sorry, but you're absolutely wrong. You do. You have a unique perspective and skill set that is only yours. It is unique to you only. And by sharing that, people can commiserate with you. They can learn from you. They can look to you. And I think that that it's a beautiful thing when you can lean on others for help or guidance. And it's not your boss or supervisor. It's not being graded at some, year-end review. It's it's safe and it's all positive, right? So if you're not sure whether it's for you or not, I mean, do it scared. Just do it scared,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And try it or don't. But I think you're never going to regret trying something if it wasn't what you thought. You will regret not doing something and wondering like, man, I wonder what would have happened if I just kind of like got out of my comfort zone just for a second, because it's hard. It's hard to go and meet these people that you think are like, oh man, they make content. And I don't like, what? Like, okay, we're still all people, right? And I met some just absolutely amazing people that I didn't even know before I went. Joey Richardson, dude, guy's great. There's so many of them. But yeah, I can't say enough great things about it. And you guys didn't pay me to say that. So I think I have to be clear there as well.
The check's in the mail. Well, hey, I was going to say, as I look at the time, it flies when you're having fun. But I want to thank you so much for coming on here, Seth.
Yeah.
Talking with us today and having all the fun.
You mean
stuff.
talking at you? I feel like it was just me, just like shooting off.
You gave so many great nuggets of information and your thoughts and what you're doing, and I just learned something about warming up the wizard that I think I may use tomorrow. We were talking about LinkedIn, right? That's what we were talking about.
No, that big guy with the pointy hat and the beard and the giant staff. No,
Family show.
Gotta throw a blanket over. That's what it is. Family show. Corey. I'm using it literally. Like you're warming him up. Put him by the fire. Get the blanket. Okay.
Hey, you know what? On that note, that's when we should probably end the podcast, right?
That's a wrap. That's another great episode. And we will catch you episode 9. Thanks, Seth, again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Seth.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
See ya.